Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Summer of Profit series. I'm Andrea Bailey-Brown. So, on today's show, we are going to be talking about why and how sales drive profit. Now, sales is one of my topics that I actually really love, and I've grown to become more comfortable with it and love sales. And I'm going to pass on a few things that you need to look at in your business as well. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how sales drive profit. So what happens is profit really gives you the ability to change the world and to do all the things that you would like to do and help in many different ways. So let's say you're really passionate about stopping child hunger or feeding the poor. Any of those things you can, with the more profit that you actually make, then the more people that you can actually help and the more impact that you will have. So why does sales matter in all of that? Well, the first thing is, without sales, nothing happens. So we first need to make sure that we are bringing in some sales in our business. And then once we get rid of all of our expenses, what's left over would be considered our profit. Now, behind the scenes, what I've seen is that many entrepreneurs spend a lot of time and they focus on a lot of things that really have no impact on their business or that their customers will not see. So sales isn't everything that we do, and it's the foundation of every business. And sometimes a lot of people get out of business because they're just not selling enough, or their business is not making the revenues that they actually want the business to make. So what you have to do is, I believe you have to just get better at sales, learn to do better at it, and just become more patient and focus on how to sell the products that you plan to sell. One of the first things is also look at your sales goals. How much do you really need to sell in order to reach your goal? And if without a goal, then the months will go along, the weeks will go by, then the year, and you didn't reach any of your goals because, in fact, maybe you didn't have any. So when I work with bricks and mortar businesses, I find that they're usually a bit more specific on their numbers. So they actually know what they're looking for. They know their numbers because they usually have major expenses to meet. They have utilities, rent, lease, and they have employees that they also need to pay bi-weekly or monthly. So in those businesses, I often find they're a bit more clear on their sales goals, at least on what they need in order to break even. When I work with solopreneurs, I find that they're a little bit more unsure of their goals and a bit more wishy-washy because perhaps in their case, they're not actually paying out a team, or they don't have major overhead that they have to pay out. So they're not necessarily setting clearly defined goals, and they don't have clarity on how much they actually need in their business in order to make it thrive and survive. So I would say the first thing that you need to do is to set clearly defined goals. Now, in saying all of that, we go back to the main topic: how is sales driving profit? Sales is really number one, because as we said at the outset, without sales, nothing happens in your business. And this is where you have to have a plan for sales and a plan that drives your revenues. You must know which products and which offerings you have that's driving most of those revenues or your profit. So be very clear on that from the outset, when you get into your business. What product are you selling? And know that 80-20% as well. And the 80-20 per ratio principle, in this case, it's that 80% of your sales will come from probably 20% of your products. There's certain products that will provide 80% of your sales, or we'd say the majority of the sales. Now, be clear on what those products are so that you can focus more on them, and also be clear on, are you carrying certain products in your store, or there's certain products where they're just not producing much for you and they're taking up shelf space, and in some cases they're probably losing you profit because they take up more time than they're actually worth. Now, that is our main set of topic, and now sales drive profit. Become very clear on your goals, set out a sales goal. Have a great day. Bye-bye.